Hi, my friends. It's Really Star again. It's been a little while, but not as long as last time. This is actually just a really impromptu live stream. I'm not set up for it. My room is not set up for it, so apologies for the mess that's going on in the background. But I did a quick jaunt, even though it's the middle of the week, down to go pick up some stuff because I didn't know what I was going to be up to this weekend, and I thought I might be busy. So, and I had a few packages waiting for me. And the roads were really nice and empty, so I decided to just go ahead and, with the proddings from people on Facebook in one of the dice fan groups I have, they told me I should go and get it. Well, good is good. So that is done now. I don't have to worry about going down for a long time because I don't believe I'll be ordering anything else because I got plenty now. For those of you who don't know, I also run a lot of games, so I always have a few extra sets on hand, and I make sure to have them on hand because I do come across a lot of new players, especially new female players, just because I find it's a lot easier to, how do I say this? A lot easier to encourage lady players to join when we're coming from the same place of understanding, and it's just, I don't know, it's just something that I do, and I seem to have a knack for it, I guess. Either way, I have a bunch of extra sets now that really I just keep around for people who've never played before or have forgotten their dice, and so they can, at least especially for new players, walk away with a set of dice, and so they can just go ahead and play, whether that's at their local game store or with their friends or with a game that I might be running in the future. Right now, though, I'm kind of a little bit busy just because I have a few games that I'm being paid to run. So with that in mind, I try and keep my focus on those ones first because someone's actually paid me to run a game for them, so they do kind of get priority over my free games. Anyways, that being said, I'm just going to start right in here. So the dice that I've ordered since I last did a live stream, I think I've done a bunch. I've bought a bunch. So I did get some from this dice company called DMG, Dice Metallic Games or something like that. I don't know what it stands for. But the dice I got were really, really pretty. I think I posted a few pictures on Instagram. If not, I did on Facebook at least. But I got 2 sets from their Kickstarter, and they actually ordered enough, so they are on sale on their website, and it is the Mythical Unicorn series, I think is what it's called. So their dice, this one, for instance, is called Unicorn Ice, and it is clear with, and you can see it right there, even though it's out of focus, clear with a lot of sparkles in it. Custom 20 in logo. Some people don't like having custom logos for the 20s. Some people do. This one's a unicorn. Can you see? There we go. Unfortunately, the light is not that far forward, so you can't really get a good look at the close-up of the sparkles. But I will post videos and images in my Instagram. Actually, I'm thinking about making a separate one just for gaming and dice, just because my normal Instagram's really for my Lolita fashion stuff, food, and my sister's dog. I love that dog, though. She's like my own little fur niece. I love her so much. Anyways, the second set of dice from MDG, Metal Dice Games, that's it. The second one I got was called Midnight Fantasy, and it is a vapor die with 2 colors and sparkles. So for those who are not familiar with that, vapor dice are basically clear dice that have been either dropped or injected and swirled with a color, possibly multiple colors. These ones have 2 colors. They are blue and purple. Again, you can't really see very well. I should just point the light down so you guys can see it right here. And the camera doesn't want to focus very well. But you can see the sparkles, the swirl of purple and blue. Again, another very beautiful set. The one thing I have to say, though, is that Other than the unicorn ice, these dice that have the colors, and I've been noticing in other owner pictures that they are a little bit roughed up on the outside. They haven't been polished as well as other sets I've seen, and I don't know if that's because all these dice companies who are doing these big Kickstarters and stuff are using the same company, and they're just inundated with a ton of orders, and so they're just pushing these out really quickly. I don't know. Either way, I probably will pick up some polish here. That there's this brand called Flitz, which is a metal fiberglass and plastic polish, and it's supposed to be really quick and a lot easier than getting sandpaper and wet sanding and then buffing and then using nail files and all this other stuff, or using automobile grade sandpapers just to get a really fine shine on it. So that was the other dice that I got. Everything else I got was from a company called Kraken, and I don't really participate in any of the drama that goes on in the dice collecting world. Believe me, it's really crazy, and you wouldn't think about it having drama, but whenever you get a large group of people together and the internet, the drama just happens sometimes. Anyways, I will show you everything I got. This is accumulation of probably a number of weeks, maybe months orders, so I just haven't been to pick things up. So first off, they gave me some of these cute Kraken cards. They made these sort of playing cards. This one is Kraken's Blessing, and it's cute. I like the idea. I wouldn't pay for these particularly, but they give them to you free. I think I've also got Kraken's Curse and a few others, and I think there's like 3 or 4 different kinds. I've never used them, but they are kind of fun to give to people. And like I said, I do play with a lot of new players, so I do collect all the stickers they gave me. So this is all from the orders. They give you quite a few stickers going into these, each individual order. Now, the crazy thing is because a lot of stuff does sell out quickly, it's usually like 1 set per order, and they don't allow people to order more than 1 set because just to make it fair, they've had some problems with people buying like 10, 20 sets and then using the extra sets and start scalping them for like ridiculous amounts of money. Anyways, that's not me. So, but I did collect a lot of stickers because of this. There's the glow in the dark sticker. That's a Kraken, although you can look at it this way. It looks like a moose deer or something. I don't know. There's this really cute chibi one, and apparently they're coming out with some new stickers that are going to be going away for free as well. There's the Kraken glow in the dark D20. And let's see what else. This time it looks like I got a sparkly teal D20, a pinky red D20, glittery purple, lavender, whatever you want to call it, and a gold. I do have some other doubles of some of these other ones as well. These are all going to go into my pile of newbie player kit. So generally speaking, I give a bunch of stickers and a set of dice. Not usually some of the harder to get Kraken dice. I usually save those either for myself or to trade for other dice, or to give to players who actually are paying for games. That's one of the perks that I like to give for people coming to play my type of game that I run. I generally have either friends paying me to run, or I have running for all female groups because it's not all that common, and sometimes for new ladies coming in who want to try the game, it's a little less daunting to be able to do it with a bunch of other ladies, especially if you're going into it alone. Other than that, let's just go ahead and crack some of these open. Kraken dice come in little kind of faux velvet bags, drawstring bags with the little Kraken charm on it. They're on a little, I don't want to call them clasp, like necklace clasps. So if you want to remove them and use them for other things like charm bracelets or paint them so that you can tell what's in each bag, you can do that. Kraken used to use colors bags that were the same color as their dice inside. So Let's start off. I do know what some of these sets are, but some of these sets came from a blind mystery bag. So they just released recently what's called their Mystery Mystics bags. So what happens with these lines are they have a line called Mystics, and they're generally translucent dye with color, pearlescent swirl, and then sparkles. And they've been extremely popular. They've sold out very quickly, and they haven't been re-released on the site. Sometimes they do a brief restock when something comes in and they weren't expecting it, and they just kind of sneak it on the site, and you might be lucky and grab it. But otherwise, I know what the rest of the stuff is. Unfortunately, they're all in these little velvet bags, and I can't tell which is which, so I'm just going to open them up randomly and see what I get. So the first set that I opened up here is a regular, I shouldn't say regular, it's one of their Kraken original line. The interesting thing that Kraken does with their lines is they give you options of how many dice you want, either a 12 set or 14 set. They do have some 7-piece sets, which are what most companies come out with. But with the popularity of D&D 5th edition, they've been putting out more dice because there are certain dice that you just use more of. For D&D 5e, for instance, you generally want to have 2 D20s. That's your 2 20-sided dice. Sit like this, simply because there's a thing called advantage and disadvantage, so it's easier to have 2 dice to roll rather than have to roll a die twice. Anyways, this is Black Magic Sapphire, which is the blue. So what it is a blue, navy blue die with sparkles and black swirled through. They're really pretty. This one's with silver ink. I couldn't decide which ink color I preferred. And if I can get my camera to freaking focus, that would be great. And it just doesn't want to do it. But you can see the little Kraken logo there. There we go. And now it's gone again. I can't win. But you can see the pearlescent. It's quite interesting because it's got a lot of depth to it. It feels like it has a lot of depth to it. Here's the D2, for instance. If you've seen some of my other live streams, you'll recognize some of these pieces that you don't find in a lot of other sets. There are a few now that are starting to kickstart and do bigger sets now with the extra D2, the extra D6s, and the extra D20, just because, like I said, ever since Critical Role really came out, they've really highlighted D&D as something that's really fun and that everyone can do, including celebrities and stuff like that. So it's just really picked up. I mean, there's some downsides to that for those who are already in the game, because it creates expectations that might be unrealistic at times, just because of the nature of gaming and individuals' styles and whatnot. Anyways, so this is still part of that same set. It's a bigger die and a little D20. So this is, I call our small tot and our chunky boy. And just to give you a comparison between that's the one that I just showed you. That's the big boy, and this is the little one. Now the interesting thing is that the regular D20 is still a fair bit larger than your average D20. I don't know why that is, why they decided to go with a bigger one, but I quite like it. It makes it a lot easier to see the numbers, especially if you're trying to roll in front of somebody else who needs to see what you rolled or what you got. So that helps there. Let's go on to the next one. I'm going to try and speed things up because I have been very chatty right now, which is okay. I like you guys, so it's all good. There we go. Oh, okay. Let's do that one in a bit. That's another one I ordered. Let's see. So here's the other Black Magic. Again, it came with a big and a little small. I'm not going to bother taking them out of this because it's exactly the same, and just with gold ink. And it's interesting because it, even just with the ink change, it looks quite different. It just pulls out different colors, and I find that if you're not liking a die, it might be the ink color if you re-ink it, or take a look at pictures of other people's re-inks, because You might actually like it. It's just a matter of sometimes the ink can really change the look, especially on translucent or clear dice. Somebody did a repaint of the numbers for one particular set. It was the Enlightenment set, I think. Oh, no, Winter Wonderland, which is just a clear dye with a lot of sparkles in it, like a ton of sparkles. And they re-inked it from the gold into the silver, into a blue, I believe, and it looked completely different just because of the way that the light cascades inside the dye and how the ink reacts with that. All right, so here's the other set that I know I got. I've been anticipating this one quite a bit. In fact, it's interesting because this one was super popular and it sold out literally within seconds. So fast that the owners of the company actually went ahead and ordered another 5,000 sets right away after their first sale opening. They usually do, for something that's super popular, 2 separate sales on the same day just to give people a chance, depending on time zones and whatnot. And usually things sell out in a couple of minutes. They've been getting better because they've had the opportunity now to order in larger quantities. So you can actually find a lot of their original lines still up on the site because they've just been ordering more of them now that they can. And that's partially, my guess, is to do with cash flow and catching up with the sudden popularity spike, which happened over the last year, really. There's a bit of salt going on online about that, but I can see that they're making progress, so I don't really have a problem with that. If I miss out on something, I miss out. It's not the biggest thing in the world. I think being a Lolita fashion person, or having interest in that and purchasing from that, you get very quickly used to the idea of things just sell out when they sell out, and some things sell out in seconds and other things don't. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But this set particularly was really popular because Laura Bailey, who is a person who plays regularly or all the time on Critical Role, in the D&D game there that Matt Mercer runs, she had posted, I think, on her Twitter about this set. She'd seen pictures of it, and she basically retweeted, I guess you should say, on her Twitter, and a lot of people had eyeballs on this particular set. It is called Unicorn Tears, and basically it's a rainbow dye. So it's very interesting because depending on how you look at it, it kind of changes color, and even though it's just a layered dye with a ton of sparkles. Like, I was not sold on the pictures of this, of when people actually got their dice, because it doesn't photograph well. It really photographs terribly. There are so many sparkles in here that it makes it actually look like it's full of bubbles, but in person, looking at this now, I can see it's just packed full of sparkles. So I can see why a lot of people like this. I was worried also that it would be really washed out looking, just simply because some people's photographs looked just terrible. Like some pieces just look completely yellow. Here's a little small one. It's a little rainbow. Some pieces look terrible, like this piece in particular, and I don't blame them because the thinness of the dye, they really can't layer a whole ton. It's very difficult to layer resin, and these are all hand poured. So, I mean, the fact that they got was this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in something this thin, and still you can actually see the difference in the layers if you really look hard at, well, if you put it behind a piece of paper, you can kind of see it there, but my desk is actually white, so I can actually really easily tell by holding it up, but looking on it straight on, you can't really see. It just kind of looks kind of peachy colored. So I can kind of understand why people were expecting something that probably wasn't physically possible in a dye like this with translucent material or transparent material. I think they were expecting something more like this, but this is so much taller than the D2. Again, it's a very pretty set. I will have to see how I feel about it in a few days, because I don't know if I like how much change happens in some of these. And this one, for instance, has like a huge streak of like blue and green in the middle, kind of mixed together. And that can happen. Like I said, these are all hand poured, so they're all going to be slightly different from each other. They are pretty dice and they are sought after. One thing I will say is, like, if you are looking for these, you might want to wait until they re-release, or you can purchase them from other people. If you're going to do that, do it on Facebook, because the prices are a lot lower than what you're going to find on, say, eBay. It's basically been a conversation topic that some sellers on eBay have been starting bidding wars and driving up the purchase price of these dice. So I think the first one that went up, I think it sold for something like almost $300 US for just the set. And it's crazy because it's not a limited set. It's going to be coming out again. You know that there's going to be another 5,000 sets being released. The turnaround time for making these dice, though, is really long. So you're going to have people who are going to be waiting for it or impatient, so they might be willing to pay more money. On average, though, you can probably pick it up for about $50 US, 50 to 70. I think most of them are settling around the $50 mark. I haven't really checked lately. But that's a lot more reasonable than a $300 set. And if you think about it, this is resin, it's just plastic. You could, for that amount of money, you could hire somebody to, like a dice maker, to make something like this. Even like the most expensive one, like maybe $100, maybe, right? Anyways, so that is Unicorn Tears. I will photograph all of these later, and put them up on my Instagram, but here you go, just so you can see. It actually looks a lot more colorful, especially if you put it on a white background. If you're going to put it on a dark background, it's going to wash out the colors and it just won't look as bright. So let's just put those away and move on to the next one. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 more sets that I actually know what I'm getting. The others are all sort of blind bags, and we'll see how that goes. All right. I'm going to put that there. So this one I know has one set that I know is in here. It comes in a bigger bag. They do give you bigger bags if you order multiple sets. Often. I may also do a separate set of videos just going on just showing the dice themselves to give you a better idea of what they look like. If there is a want for that, let me know in the comments and I will get on that right away. All right, so this is the set that I knew I was going to be purchasing. This is their somewhat new signature line. Now, these aren't resin, these are acrylic. And if you don't know much about dice, acrylic dice are factory made. They're not hand poured. They're machine made. They're not hand poured. So in essence, they are a lot faster and cheaper to make. These sets are a lot cheaper than the resin sets. Like that resin set of 14 pieces is about $23 US. The 12-piece set's roughly about 18. So some people think it's super expensive for a set of dice. But if you're buying that many dice, if you think about it, your average set of dice costs about $9 or $10 US. Now you're getting double the amount of those dice and you're paying a couple of extra dollars more for the Kraken exclusive sets. So I don't think that's too far off, to be perfectly honest. So it's something I'm willing to pay for. Other people aren't. Again, with the Kraken signature line, you get the Kraken D20 with the Kraken on it. So this is Periwinkle with silver ink. It's pretty much a pearlescent kind of swirl, lavendery color. I really like this color. It's cute. And these sets being cheaper, this is going to be one of those sets that I have on hand for people who forget their dice, they want to borrow, or who are new and really don't have anything to start off with. So I like to be nice to newbies. That's going in there. I believe this is another signature set. I don't believe I paid for this one. I think this might have come because I bought multiple sets and it was just like a mystery signature set. So Again, it's from that signature line, and it's this fuchsia color. Again, it has the Kraken D20 on it, which is not focusing. I really, am not happy with my camera right now. It's focusing on me, but which is, I guess, is the good thing. Again, it's the kind of pearly swirly and in silver. So again, another set that is going to be put aside for new players. I have a new game starting up fairly soon for some friends because they wanted to pay me to do a one shot, and if they enjoyed it, they're going to basically continue playing and paying me. One of the things that interested them that I had mentioned about that is that for a little bit of extra money per person, I'm willing to also provide meal. So they were very excited about that. So that's probably what's going to happen in the near future. I just have to schedule dates with them and figure out exactly what they want and how much they want to spend on that to get what they want. All right. Oh, wow. Okay, so now we're on to more the actual mystery sets. These are the Mystery Mystics. And Kraken actually put up a graph chart of items that they had in these mystery bags. So there were several sets that there was quite a lot of them, and they didn't put numbers to it. So we don't have an actual idea of numbers, but we do have an idea of ratios. So the most common one you were likely to get was a color called Nightshade, which is this pretty sort of purpley color, although in some lights it can look pink. The next after that was one called Frostwolf, which is a very popular color. It is a blue color. The next most common one was going to be Fairy Dust, which is the one I'm after, which is this kind of really pale leafy green color. It's so pretty. After that came another one called Eternal Enchantress, which is a peachy color. I actually used to own that set, but I had to sell it for money reasons, and so I no longer owned it. So basically all of the sets that they had that were of the Mystic line, I didn't have any of them. And then there was a very small sliver of percentage of a dice set that is no longer in production, was introduced in their Christmas crate, I think it was last year, and it was called Winter Wonderland, which is a clear die full of sparkles. And that's just the one that I just opened up. So I know right now that if I don't get Fairy Dust, I will probably be able to trade for that set. So this is Winter Wonderland. I'm just going to show it to you first. You can see the sparkles. They're quite pretty. There you go, it focused now. So it's interesting. Please focus. There we go. Lots of sparkle packed in there. So that was really cool. It came in this yellow bag. So I don't know if they're color coding again, but I saw from other people's posts that they weren't. So that's a really happy surprise. This is actually the hardest one to get, I guess, because there was the fewest of them. I'm not sure I'm going to fall in love with this. It is really pretty in person. Like, this is the thing. You buy a lot of these things online, and as much as they put videos and photos up, oftentimes it just doesn't capture the actual, like, in your hand presence of the die. So it's nice to be able to see these in person and be like, wow, do I like this or do I not like this? Someone else had mentioned to me that one set in particular had dice that were potentially lighter shades than other ones. Okay, so here's the next set. It's in a green bag. And I just went, oh, because it is actually the set that I wanted the most, which is Fairy Dust. All right, I'm just going to show these to you right now. A very pale green showing up on the screen, but they're actually really pretty. They are a little bit more saturated than probably what you're seeing on screen right now. So again, like I said, they have a pearlescence to them and basically a lovely sparkle. If you're familiar with some other dice like Chessex, I guess this is sort of similar to their Borealis line. although I would say it's a little different. I guess the newer Borealis line is kind of like this, but this is a little more dispersed, I think, and the pearlescence gives it a little bit more of a depth. Sometimes you can't see all the swirls that might be present in a Borealis die. This one, because of the pearlescence in it, you can totally see like it's got whipped up little swirlies in it. And that's really what I kind of like about these dice. I like pretty things in general, you can probably tell. And I apologize in advance because this video is long and it's just getting longer because too many dice. All right, the next one. There is one more set here that I actually ordered in here somewhere. I just don't know which bag it is. If I can untie this. So this is a black bag. We'll see what's in here. All right. Oh, they tied it on both sides. There we go. Ooh, okay, so this is Nightshade. This is the color that was supposed to be the most common, this kind of purpley pinky color. But a lot of people did want it. Probably can't see the sparkle too well. Again, I will take photos of all of these and see how it goes. Some of these sets will be going to some of my new players coming in. Most of my players coming in don't own Kraken dice, so it's a nice kind of like, here you go, here's something special, because these have been in the past a lot more difficult to get. Now that these are all out there in the open though, or out in the wild I should say, they should be a lot easier to get now and a lot cheaper. Some of these sets were going for over 100, some for almost 200. But now that a lot more sets are out there on the market with people potentially selling these, I wouldn't be surprised if they drop back down to like the $50 US mark. Now, if you want, I'm pretty sure they're going to re-release these. They're super popular. They may not look exactly the same because I heard that the owners weren't happy with some of the dice sets that came out from this line. And so they're changing things a little. They're going to be offered in the 12 and 14 piece sets. I believe it's going to be a new glitter and then with various ink colors available too. So if you want to hold on for that, go for it. I mean, these will still hold value for people who really want to collect. But for people who just want pretty dice, I wouldn't spend that much money on dice necessarily. I might pick up a spare die here or there and make like a misfit set of different sets. But for me, I probably wouldn't spend $200-$300 on a set of dice. There have been crazier things, though. I remember seeing not too long ago someone paid $2,100 for an old set of dice that aren't being made anymore because this glitter in them, I think, was like started being used for currency in Europe. So the glitter was no longer available for sale to general public, basically, or basically for places that weren't producing, legitimate currency. Here's the next one, another black bag. Ooh, wow. Okay, I've been pretty lucky so far. I was expecting to get doubles here. This one is Frost Spirit. Oops, it's the blue one. So this is the set that I had heard from someone that you can get some different colors if you hold it up to the light. These ones, yeah, there's a little bit of a color difference. And I'm not sure if that's because this is just more resin, because these lighter ones seem to be the smaller pieces. But someone was saying that even with the D6s, that sometimes you can see that there's a difference. I have all light ones here. The darker pieces seem to be the bigger ones. So that's the D20, the D12, and even the D10s to an extent. Yeah, these are... one's darker than the other, I think. Oh, here we go. So slight shade difference. I don't know if that's going to bother me or not. Who knows? But there you can see all the glitter and everything in there. These are really pretty dice. Blue was not one that I was expecting. It wasn't one of the ones I was hoping for, so, I mean, it's still pretty. We'll see what the last one is. This was actually really sought after, so I might see if somebody really, really wants this set, and then my player will just get whatever comes. If that's another sparkly set, like Winter Wonderland, or Eternal Enchantress, or something else. We'll see. I would like to make somebody else happy, since that particular set's not going to stay with me. Wow. Okay, so yet again, another different set. So I only have one dice bag left, which is the one that I was expecting. Oh, wait, maybe not. Is this... Oh, no, this is the one I was expecting. This one's called Trapped Innocence. The reason why I got confused is it's a very similar color to the last and final Mystic set. Was it the last final Mystic? No, wait. Fairy Dust, Nightshade, Frost Spirit. I can't remember now. Let me just take a quick peek. Yeah, so Nightshade, Frost Spirit, Fairy Dust, Eternal Enchantress, and Winter Wonderlands were the 5 sets available. I got 4. I've opened 3, right? Well, yes, 3. So here we go. So this is definitely on the pinkier side of, not quite so orangey, so it's more like a pale pink. This one, you can, if you can see here, let's see if I can get it up there. You can see it's mostly pearl. There's not a sparkle in there. And I think if I show you this, it's probably the easiest way to see it. You can see pearl essence there. It's kind of swirly, but there's no sparkle to it really. Like, I mean, the pearl essence is in itself a little bit shiny, but it's not going to be like glitter. So that's really interesting because there you can see it's kind of swooping across the bottom there. It's very interesting looking. And that came in this kind of blue bag. So last one is this purple bag. Let's see what's in here. Ah, yes, this is a set I ordered. So I did get 4. So the only one I didn't get was Eternal Enchantress, which is basically very similar to this. Probably a little bit peachier maybe, and then with glitter, which is surprising because it was the most recent set. This one is, I've been posting this one online on my Instagram, I think, as well as in different dice groups. This is Kraken's, people have been calling it the pony line because it was inspired by My Little Pony. And I did get other portions of this set. Let me see. Over here in this box of mine. So these ones I already received a while ago. And they're very pretty. I do like them. Again, one of their cheaper sets. So, and they're in stock. They don't have the Kraken for the D20. So if that's a deterrent for you, then you will probably want to pick up these ones because they're really pretty. So these are the ones I already have. So this is Sea Stout, which is just a pale blue with a lot of sparkle in it. This one is Sea Bridal, which is a blue and purple dye swirled with a lot of sparkle again in it. I don't know if I can capture the sparkle very well on that one. My hands are just in the way of everything. All right, and this one was Purple Rains, which is purple with some pink hues to it. I got them with the silver dye. Now this is the new set. It is called Begonia. It is the pink set. I didn't pick this one up originally because it was pink, and I'm not always a big fan of pink, but in person they actually look a little less intense pink, which is nice. And the sparkle is also really nice on them. And that's pretty much the last set. So tell me below if you enjoy having these dice openings and reveals and stuff like that, or if you actually just prefer me to just do gaming and talk about other stuff. Like I've been saying in the last couple of videos, these lives are a good way to tide over between me trying to finish up the script writing for a couple of a series that I wanted to do and filming and editing those. So I'm just really filling time with these lives. But if you prefer to see different kind of lives, if you would rather see how I do my makeup, for instance, or, you know, me going out for like a Lolita outing or something, just let me know in the comments below. Or if you don't mind these things, like you want to see the things that I'm picking up, that's pretty fun too. I'm more than happy to continue with it. Otherwise, if I don't hear anything, I'm just going to keep on doing whatever I feel like doing. Anyways, that's it for tonight. It is getting late. I have to get up really early tomorrow morning to get to work so I can go for a run first. But otherwise, feel free to send me a DM or a message. I'll post my Instagram links below. I may also open up a page on Facebook where I can share a lot of these videos and pictures, and you don't have to follow my account because my account's getting a bit full and I need to do a bit of a weeding, but that's usually it's only for friends and stuff like that. So I'll probably do a Facebook page that's going to be public and people can ask questions there or contact me there. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. Thanks if you stick around for the whole thing. Otherwise, I will catch you again later, probably next week sometime. So thanks for watching. Bye.